Gunther, what up, dude? Oh, what's going on, Gunther? God, this car's way too quiet. All right, boys, what do you think of that cold start? This thing has no balls until we get an exhaust on it. Let me give you a proper cold start. Hello, baby girl. I haven't started Karma in a couple days, and she's just been kind of like hanging out in the garage because I've been driving Gunther around. Gunther the Golf, I like it. Parts for that car show tomorrow because it is way too stock for me. But today we're going down to Fuse. So today should be the last day of fabrication on our Subaru. As I'm sure you guys have seen on Instagram, Facebook, and a couple other spots, I posted up a couple teaser photos of everything that's going on down there. I actually think we're gonna be done with fabrication today. So I'm pumped. Let me let Karma just kind of warm up for a little bit. We get out of here and go check out the Subaru. So made it down to Fuse. We've got a couple cool cars out here. We have a Corvette. I don't know if this is C5, C6. I don't remember off the top of my head. Rear mounted turbo setup in that thing. That thing makes like 800 wheel horsepower. Got a cool Razor. Got a whole bunch of cool stuff back here. Now up in here, some things have changed. So Kyle's knocked out a ton of stuff on this so far. So as you guys can see down there, we have our, I guess, mid pipe is what you'd call it, with the exhaust pretty much all done at this point. We still have the catback to do on that. Kyle's working on the intake manifold right now. But here's half of it just to give you guys an idea of what it's going to look like. So we have 3 runners coming up on each side of the manifolds, then gonna go to a plenum, then gonna go to our big 3.5-inch throttle body. Now while Kyle's knocking that stuff out over there, I need to get to town on this bumper. So in order to get the bumper to fit, we are hitting the intercooler piping over here on this side coming off of the core. So I need to come in here. I've had to do this with like stock intercoolers as well, and just kind of trim off this area of where the turn signal and the fog light and everything go, just to get clearances a little bit better. If I can just like kind of lop off all of this while still retaining structural rigidity in that little turn signal area, that'll be Gucci. If not, we can always swap to like a 2018 plus front bumper. It doesn't really have those that stick out as far. So while he's going to town on that over there, let me get to town cutting this thing up. Safety glasses. That fucking got me good. So for the most part, the bumper is back on the car. Now, one quick tip, make sure you're wearing like some type of PPE or eye protection, something when you're cutting. I totally spaced on it and totally gave myself a black eye from a piece of plastic that just launched in my face. Safety glasses or else you'll get a swollen eyeball. But we pretty much have the bumper on at this point. I had to go through here and kind of cut out the fog light area to clear the intercooler piping. It's a tight fit over here, but it does fit. Bumpers kind of, once we get the clip in there, it'll be held up on there tight. Over here on this side, we're running into a small issue with the intercooler piping. There's just no more material we can cut off of that without compromising like the OE look of the bumper. So Kyle said he's gonna modify that to get it to fit. Like we're like so close on getting the bumper to fit right there, it's crazy. So a little bit of modification there and we should be good, and then the bezel should just secure back in place, but it's coming along. He's knocking out more of the manifold right now. So we've got these plates on there to make the plenum, and then the throttle body is probably gonna sit down a little bit lower down here on this intake manifold, just to keep everything a little bit low so we're clearing the hood scoop up here. But we've got like the downpipe pretty much done at this point. I think there's like 3 or 4 more spots that just need to be welded up. The catback's pretty much done with the exception of the end. Intercooler is just a little bit of modification on that. Radiator's done. The little radiator guy, radiator fill, turbo placement, everything is pretty much like wrapped up. We're just kind of knocking out the smaller stuff with the exception of the manifold. That's probably the last one of the bigger things that we're doing right now. But with the bumper on this thing, oh, it looks so good. I had to tap out and have Kyle cut this for me just because my cuts with an angle grinder are straight like garbage, and I will be the first one to admit that. So Kyle cleaned up my cuts and made it look like 1,000 times better, and we still have like decent room between the bumper and the intercooler core right there, so it's not gonna be smacking up against it. So Kyle's working on the manifold right now, and I think intercooler piping. We got the bumper pretty much fit on there like I was saying, but dude, my eye is like so swollen. PPE, it's important. I will catch. Come on. It's coming. It's gonna happen sooner or later. Any day now. There it goes. So essentially, we'll have 2 of these coming out each side. Oh, that's gonna look so good. So it'll be boom, boom, here and there. Fuck yeah. So Kyle let me attempt to weld on the manifold, and I'm totally down to try, and I got a lot of practice still. I'm not gonna say I started out strong, but I'm gonna say I started out all right, and then I don't know what happened quite there. So I'm gonna hand it back over to the professional. Let Kyle take it from here. Gotta practice welding a lot more. No harm, no foul. He was able to fix it. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I will say, since we got that one welder up at the house, using Kyle's, like, it's probably the settings on ours, like him and I were talking about, but his, like, I could see, like, all the metal, like, forming into a puddle, and then you, like, add the filler rod and everything and start going down. Like, I obviously held it in one spot way too long and burned straight through the material, but that machine, that worked, like, 1,000 times better than what I was able to do at the house. So a lot of you guys have been asking to see the intake manifold. This is pretty much the final result of it. We're still gonna put a couple vacuum fittings in the backside of it, so that way we have access to a couple 1/4" and 1/8" NPT fittings for all of our vacuum stuff, such as the fuel pressure regulator, boost gauge for the ECU, or just the vacuum source for the ECU. I'm gonna need one for a map sensor also, I just realized that. Just kidding, the map sensor is built into the ECU. Just double checked and verified that. So we'll have a couple of MPT fittings on the backside of it, 1/8", 1/4", just so that way we have a couple options to be able to do for the fuel pressure regulator and any other vacuum sources that we're gonna be hooking up on here. So it came out awesome. It looks like the alien from Alien vs. Predator guy. It's got like a weird spider look to it, but I like it, it's dope. We still have this fuse piece to put on there as well. Wow, that thing is warm. I didn't touch it, but I could just feel it going in right there. And then we are also running the Vibrant HD clamps. They're HD clamps, right? Yeah. Off of here, and then we're just gonna do the intercooler piping to go out and around to right there. And then for the most part, that's pretty much everything with the exception of some small stuff. The axle back, the radiator fans, the lower radiator hose guy, I guess. And then we also figured out coil packs, what we are going to be doing with that. So Kyle has a set of R35 GTR coil packs back here in this 2J and this 240 right here. We just pulled one out to test one. We shoved it in the EG real quick, and it literally lines up perfectly in the car. So we just need to do a mounting solution to be able to bolt those coil packs down, but they literally are the perfect length to where the coil pack sits, like right about here, right outside of the valve cover. So we have coil packs figured out. I'll get those ordered probably in the next couple of days or so. And then after we have that, we just have sensors to wire in. And this thing's pretty much ready to get wired, put a bass tune on it, and start it. Dude, my eye feels like I got in a fight with Ellen DeGeneres and she like smacked me with a fucking purse or something. While Kyle's messing with all the intercooler piping, or the last little piece of intercooler piping we're working out up here, I'm gonna get some B-roll. In theory, what would happen if you welded one of those and you threw it in like the freezer?
Weld it?
Like just anything, you threw it in the freezer to cool down?
Like nothing. I sometimes take like the smaller, thicker pieces that I've just welded, like aluminum, whatever, and just run it under the sink.
I didn't know if it would like damage the weld or anything like that from like rapid cool down. This thing looks fucking wild, dude. And then it'll just go whoop straight down there to where the intercooler is. Right there, you guys can see it. Dude, it looks like it's almost a complete engine bay.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Literally, once that pipe's done,
it's pretty much the yeah, if we have the blow-off valve right there, that shouldn't get in the way of the fuel rail down there, because we're gonna have to have one fuel line coming off of there. I think that's the dash, yeah, that's the dash 8 side, that's the dash 6 side.
That's just gonna be at 90, right?
Yeah. Because yeah, that one will just be at 90 going down underneath of the manifold right there, so that should be totally fine. But it blows my mind still that intercooler piping is bigger in diameter than most people's downpipes. I mean, that thing will definitely fit. Oh, dude, that's spot on. That's beautiful. It's literally perfect. Like, I don't think it could be any more perfect. Bro! What? We have pretty much a complete looking engine bay. So I think there's only a couple more things going in the engine bay, and then I'm pretty sure like everything up here for the most part is done, which is the blow-off valve, a catch can, the radiator fans, the lower radiator if you want to count that. I don't really know if you want to, but this thing looks so fucking wild. So we're gonna be running a tile queue on the car. We're probably thinking that it's more or less gonna go right about there. It'll clear the fuel rail just fine. I have a coolant overflow at the house already. It's a Chase Bays one that I've already had laying around. That was supposed to be for the 05 that just never ended up working out. So that'll probably, I don't know, I'll probably put it like over there by the fuse box or something. And then a catch can, which will probably go somewhere back there. Like, you guys ask like where this engine sits. It sits so far forward in the engine bay. If you look back here, there is miles of room between the engine and the firewall. Like, there's a ton of room back there. You could probably put a small child back there and lay them down if you really wanted to. I wouldn't advise it, but there's so much more room back there than there is up here. I wish we could push the whole drive line back a little bit, but that would just so much work to be able to do something like that. But this, there's so much. I don't even want to powder coat it now. I don't even want to powder coat the intake manifold. It looks so good. It's just straight up bling in here now. I'll probably end up polishing the manifold and all the piping after we get like everything worked out, all the sensors in, the wiring and whatnot like that. But this looks killer. Not bad for it. It's a real Subaru now. This is what Subaru should have done, is just put a flat 6 in an STI. And then just kept the 4-cylinder in the WRX. So we have the bumper off the car right now and it is up in the air, and I kind of want to show you guys this. So just as a reminder, we have our exhaust manifold. You guys have seen that before. It goes all the way around. It is twin scroll, so both scroll settings run up to the turbo right up there. So this is like our up pipe here. We have one tile 38mm wastegate coming off of each scroll setting. We have our modified oil pan. So it's the stock EG33 oil pan that Kyle modified to increase capacity on that. And then going back, we have our downpipe right there that is titanium, comes down here, and then it goes to our catback, which is literally just a straight shot all the way to the back of the car. So it's 4-inch all the way through the car, and then it's gonna come out here, it's gonna Y off, and then we're just gonna do a quad exhaust tip back here, so it looks kind of OEM-ish. It's beautiful. Like, if you look at all this stuff, like Kyle just did an absolutely incredible job with all of this. Like, it all just looks so beautiful. But it's like the entire bottom side of the car looks nuts. And then, as you guys know, we have our massive intercooler here. Behind the intercooler, our radiator that sits underneath of the stock core support. Intercooler piping routes up to the turbo right there. And then this side, it just routes around, goes up, and then that's what we just did that goes up to the throttle body. Then coming back up to the top of the car, as you guys just saw, intercooler piping comes up, wraps around, goes into our intake manifold here. We still have to weld on that logo, or the fuse logo onto the manifold, which is gonna look dope because you can see it through the hood scoop. And then all of that will run down into the engine. So we have pretty much the bulk majority of everything done at this point. Like I said, blow-off valve will probably sit about right there. I'm gonna get a turbo guard for the intake, or for the turbo, because we obviously can't have an intake. There's literally no room right there. But you guys, like, this all just started out as an idea one night late at home when I ordered an EG33 off eBay Motors, and look where we're at now. Absolutely wild. So I'm gonna jet back up to the house because my eye is like so swollen, it's like breaking my balls right now, and I need to take my contacts out. So let me swing back up to the house. We'll finish out this video and we'll get to wiring this thing here shortly. Get it running. Starting to build a base map for it. So as soon as we get all the sensors and wires and everything in, we should be able to start it. Assuming, yeah, we'll be able to figure it out. It's not that bad. All right, so I'm chilling in the office. I totally spaced on making an outro last night. My primary goal last night was to get my contacts out and kind of like chill out for a little bit. But car should be coming back up to the garage today. I need to, once it gets back in here, we need to start going through the engine bay, figuring out what sensors we need to order. I need 2 knock sensors, cam position sensor, crank position sensor. We need to figure out the reluctor wheel a little bit more just to be able to get everything dialed in properly, start wiring in that ECU, and then we should pretty much be good to go. Our setup that we have in the car now is probably going to cap out at like like 850 to 950 wheel horsepower. Our 2 limiting factors are going to be our injectors. For some weird reason, I thought ID1300s would be enough, so we have ID1300s in the car right now. On pump gas, they'll do great. On E85, not so much. I already have the flex sensor in the garage, so we can get that figured out. We need to finish the fuel system, but my goal is to have that car at least idling in the next month to month and a half, which I think we can do. But the Blue Brew's finally taken form, and I'm so excited to have that car coming back. I've missed seeing that car like sitting out in the garage and whatnot. I need to get wheels and tires ordered for that thing also. I need a set of bead locks, as well as a set of street wheels, so beadlock suggestions I'm totally open to if you guys have any, but that's all I got for you guys on this one. We get some Golf R modifications dropped off today, so I am excited to start modifying the Golf R as well to make it just a little bit better of a daily driver. So with that, if you guys are excited for the Blue Brew, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed and you want to see like this car make some power and like do this stuff and like live, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!